to do so in this country. We continue to pray for the peace and tranquility to continue to rule and reign over the nation of Malawi. Even as we go to the polls in September, we need your guidance and your presence, your power and glory, that Lord God Almighty, your goodness shall keep us together. Let your name be glorified and be exalted, now and forever we pray in Jesus' name. Let everybody say amen.
Thank you very much for that powerful opening prayer by Bishop Robin Robert Ndala of Rehoboth International Ministries. Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi. Your Excellency, Madam Monica Chakwera, First Lady of the Republic of Malawi. Ms. Colleen Zamba, Secretary to the President and Cabinet. All the Cabinet and Deputy Ministers here present. Mr. Jerry Kochman, Regional Director of the Global Leadership Network. Your Excellencies, Heads of Diplomatic Mission and International Organizations here present. Mr. Victor Mughogho, Country Coordinator, Global Leadership Network, Malawi, and all members of staff of the Global Leadership Network here present. Mr. Mike Seth, Chairperson and Chief Executive Officer for Global Leadership Institute. Pastor Chris Matebola, Leadership Consultant. Reverend Dr. Vincent Chirwa, Ambassador, Global Leadership Network. All the presenters, facilitators, and moderators here present. Your Majesty, Ngwenyama, Inkosi Yamakosi Mbero 5. Honorable Patrick Zebulon Chilondola, Regional Chairman of the Malawi Congress Party for the Center, and all members of the Regional Committee here present. Your Worship, Councillor Esther Sagawa, Mayor of the City of Lilongwe, and all councillors here present. Honorable Alfred Gia, Member of Parliament for Lilongwe City Centre constituency. All the traditional leaders here present. Bishop Robin Robert Ndala, the officiating clergy, and all religious leaders here present. Distinguished delegates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor to welcome you all to this official opening ceremony of the Global Leadership Summit here in Lilongwe, Malawi. A platform designed to inspire and to equip leaders to design their tomorrow. Leadership is influence, and each of us in our respective roles has the power to make the difference, whether you're in business, in education, health care, we're talking of the faith, or community service. Your leadership matters. This summit, held across 124 countries, is a catalyst for transformation. It's bringing together world-class speakers who change us to lead with purpose. Of course, to lead with resilience and innovations. Talking of leadership, Your Excellency, today we are so honored and privileged to have you to officially open this summit. Your visionary leadership continues to inspire us to work hard and to becoming a better version of ourselves in everything that we do in the society that we represent. As we engage over these 2 days, let us seize this opportunity to learn, to grow, and of course, commit in shaping our better future. But now, to set the tone for the summit, Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, here are some videos on who we are. That's setting the tone for the summit today. And thereafter, we're going to have a statement. And this statement is coming from Mr. Victor Mughogho, who is the country coordinator of Global Leadership Network Malawi. But once again, welcome to the Global Leadership Summit here in Lilongwe, Malawi. Thank you.
What could you do with 2 days? When it comes to how you spend your time, you want to be intentional, impactful, inspiring. You want your investment to be worth it. The Global Leadership Summit is 2 days to unplug from the everyday, to refuel, refocus, and gain practical skills to level up your leadership. The Global Leadership Summit gathers in locations across the world. This is a community of people dedicated to investing in themselves. Curious, growth-minded leaders sharing inspiring moments that have a transformative impact on your heart and mind. The Global Leadership Summit is 2 days of renowned speakers, uniquely curated thought leaders from every industry. Gain tools that challenge you to amplify your influence and equips you to lead where you are. This investment in your leadership now will create exponential dividends in your future.
Are you ready? That was the question that is there. Are you ready for this leadership summit? Are you ready? Because there's just so much to learn and to relearn and, of course, to grow. Your Excellency, as I said, next on the program is a statement, and the statement is coming from Mr. Victor Mughogho, the country coordinator of Global Leadership Network Malawi, to also give us a picture what this Global Leadership Summit is all about and what it means to Malawi as a whole. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, the President of the Republic of Malawi, Her Excellency, Madam Monica Chakwera, the First Lady of the Republic of Malawi, and all protocols duly observed. My humble duty this morning, Your Excellency, is to welcome you to the Global Leadership Summit 2024 and 2025, under the theme, Design Your Tomorrow. The theme has been set for this very purpose, that our tomorrow have got to become better than our today, that what we are today has potential for us to make improvement and provide a better tomorrow for the people we serve, the country we're living in, the organizations that we're leading. They can become better than they are right now. So in these 2 days, every leader gathered here today, you will have the power, you will have the initiative to craft that vision for tomorrow. So welcome once again, Your Excellency, to this Global Leadership Summit. I would like also to welcome to the summit our international delegates. So I want actually to highlight who those delegates are in this room today. We have actually two international guest speakers who will speak to us this morning. Pastor Chris Matebula, and I would like us to welcome him into the country. He's from South Africa. If we can put our hands together for him as one of the speakers here today. He will help us from his message to design a better tomorrow with the insights that will be provided. I would also want to make mention and welcome to our country one of our speakers, Mike Self. He is also going to speak this morning to us. May we also welcome him, Mr. Mike Self. And I also want to mention, welcome in a special way, Jerry Couchman, our regional director, Andrew Griff. You will not see him, he's on the take. And also I want to welcome a delegation from Tanzania, led by the country director from Tanzania, Mr. Mbuto Chibwai, and his team is right here in front. But we welcome Tanzania also in the room. And in also a special way, I wanted to recognize all those who attended the summit 2 years ago. Now I want to see by a show of hands whether you are back in the room again. May we see those who were here last time in 2023? Can we see their hands? Let's clap hands for those who were here last time. They are faithful students of leadership. But then also may I have the honor to welcome those who are here for the very first time. And I know you are here. We see, and we want to welcome in a special way to this summit. If you're here for the first time, let's see with your hands. And if you're sitting next to one of them, please welcome them. Leaders embrace each other, and they encourage one another. So we welcome those who are here for the first time. My hope is that as you are here, even based from the opening videos that we have seen, you will understand that this is a serious event in the transformation of a leader. Because unless a leader himself experiences transformation, the cause that he leads or the organization that he leads will not experience that transformation. It all begins with the leader. So I really welcome all the delegates who are here for the first time. I want to recognize the fact that some will be here in the opening ceremony and have made plans to leave afterwards, but I would urge them to consider that decision and register and stay with the summit to the very end. The reason I'm saying that is we do have a world-class faculty that will speak to us. You may have seen in the publicity that we put out that actually we will have one of our speakers, though it will be videocast, none other than Condoleezza Rice, the former Secretary of State of the U.S. government, and she was also the Chief Security Advisor for the USA government. That message will come in the afternoon. So those of us who are planning to leave, you may miss out. But in the afternoon, we'll hear our message, which she delivered 2 years ago, and it goes to leaders, and she highlights the critical lessons she has learned in her leadership journey. So you can see that the faculty that will speak to us today is a faculty that will inspire us, equip us to attain world-class leadership that ignites transformation. And that very last statement I've just made is the mission of the Global Leadership Network. And I'll say that mission again. We are here in these 2 days, and all the other events that will happen in Blantyre, to inspire and equip not just leadership, world-class leadership that ignites transformation. Here is the point of that mission statement. For Malawi to become world-class, for the organization we lead to become world-class, that means every sector of our society will recognize in the Global Leadership Network we must inspire a different kind of leadership. It has to be world class. And that is exactly the objective of our summits and our events. But the end goal is that those who are inspired and raise their level of leadership, they will go ahead and ignite transformation. And before I conclude my opening remarks with that mission statement, I want to highlight what motivates us here in Malawi. It's a team of volunteers from across different sectors. There's no, we're all volunteers, meaning we don't get paid. We are fueled by one passion, that everything rises and falls on leadership. And I'll give you another reason that inspires me personally. And I'll do that with a very simple story. Once upon a time, on a very specific day, on the 21st of October, 2012, came into this country none other than Dr. Miles Monroe. And when he came to Blantyre, I was privileged to be in that room on 21st October 2012. And the man sat there and he spoke to leaders. The problem that was made was he made a statement that hit me so hard, I've never recovered from it. So can I share with you the statement that I've failed to recover from? And maybe the experts in the room can help me recover from that statement. Here is the statement that he said. Nothing happens without leadership. Nothing succeeds without leadership. Nothing transforms without leadership. Nothing develops without leadership. Nothing advances without leadership. Nothing improves without leadership. And nothing is corrected without leadership. Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, and Her Excellency, Madam Monica Chakwera, that is the statement, and all guests in the room. That statement is the one I'm failing to recover from. From that moment onwards, I made up my mind that everything in my sphere of influence starts with me and ends with me. And therefore, I have no choice or option but to develop my leadership. But then we took that passion further, is that it's not enough to develop my leadership. We must develop the leadership of other people, for iron sharpens iron. And that's why we are inviting leaders through Your Excellency from every sector in the country to be in this room. But I know others are not here because they are not fully aware of this event. We are hoping today it will be an exposure and you'll make a commitment to work with us. Before I sit down, Your Excellency, I want to recognize people who have rallied with us to help make this movement progress in the country. You may see some banners around. I just want to make mention of them. We are calling for more partners. We have the nation publications that have given over 3 million plus of free advertisement so that the nation can hear about this summit. We have Standard Bank also that has come forth to partner with us. You have overseas brands. You may see the branding outside. They have come along believing that our Vision 2063 cannot be attained unless our leadership is transformed. But to do that, we must put fuel in the fire. And we appreciate that partnership. So ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, and Madam Monica Chakwera, the First Lady of the Republic of Malawi, welcome once again to the 2024 and 2025 Leadership Summit. And all guests here gathered, welcome to the Global Leadership 2025, where we together start this journey to design a better tomorrow for every organization and for our beloved nation, Malawi. I thank you for your attention. God bless you all.
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Victor Mughogho, was giving us the opening remarks, welcoming us here at the Global Leadership Summit here in Lilongwe, Malawi. Thank you very much for also inspiring us that our tomorrow should be better than today, and that we really need to work hard on this one as we continue to inspire and be equipped while we lead in every sector that we are. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we continue the program with another statement that is coming from Mr. Jerry Coachman. Mr. Jerry Coachman, Your Excellency, is a Regional Director of Global Leadership Network, GLN. And thereafter, after his statement, he's presenting a gift to you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Your Excellency, First Lady, what an honor it is for me to stand here and see just leaders of a country just committing to leadership. I don't know if you've noticed that God often has small beginnings, but he never has small plans. And the summit, from the video, you would not have known the history of the summit. You would just see this huge event that's happening today. But it started in Chicago in 1995, when the leader then of a local church said, where do leaders go to intentionally get better every year? Because he said he needed something like that to grow his leadership. And so it started in 1995 with 2,500 people gathered together in Chicago. It then grew from there, and in 2005 it was launched internationally via a video cast that will be seen in the next couple of days. And then today, as you saw in the video, it was 134 countries that it's currently in, with over just on close to 400,000 leaders will experience what you're going to experience today. Excuse me. Excuse my gulping. I've got an oxygen concentrator, and it just, words came back to me by one of the speakers one year that said, if you're not dead, you're not done. So I'm still standing here. So the GLS grew from there and went global. And today it's more than what we look for, as Victor and the opening remarks covered. We don't look for just leadership to grow my head, to grow my knowledge. We look for leaders who are going to transform their surroundings, make it better. And So what we're looking for are humble servant leaders that will be more interested in growing the people around them and making the change for the better. And I think you'll agree with me, as we look around the world's a mess, and it's going to take good leadership and good godly leadership to change the scenario that is today. And so we're excited about working with Malawi, and you are blessed to have a God-fearing leader that everyone around the world would be really jealous to have. So what an honor. And so as we go on, I'll be talking a little bit later. So we'd just like to thank you again, honorable guests, and thank you for making time. Thank you for developing yourself. And let's change Malawi and then the world. Thank you.
So what is happening is that Mr. Jerry Coachman He's presenting a gift to His Excellency the President to say thank you for your commitment, your vision and leadership, that you continue to inspire many. Thank you. Thank you. Zikomo kwambiri. Thank you very much. That was a statement by Mr. Jerry Kochman, who is the Regional Director of Global Leadership Network, GLN. Thank you very much for that powerful message, where we are learning that well-equipped leaders, it's very easy to inspire the team they are leading. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we continue with the program now with a presentation. This presentation is on Lead Where You Are, and is going to be done by Pastor Chris Matebula, the leadership consultant. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Pastor Chris Matebula.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, First Lady Mama, our honorable leaders, and all protocol observed, ladies and gentlemen, just want to greet you all in the name of Jesus. My story about leadership was inspired by the story of a Good Samaritan. We are told that there was a crime that was committed. A man was robbed, left half dead, and the first person to appear in a crime scene, it was the priest. And the priest passed by. He could not help the man. The Levite also passed by. The Bible talks about a Good Samaritan who came in, and he realized that there was a man who was robbed, there was a man who was about to die, and he needed some help. He was riding on the donkey, he was going into a trip, but he decided that I cannot allow things to remain as they are. He decided that I will lead in my environment and make a difference. I think the rest of the story, we know that this man was empowered and this man became a different man. I need to say, Mr. President, when you stepped into politics or into governance, your story as well challenged me while I was in South Africa. I said, I'm not going to be that priest, who's living in a place where there's a crime scene, crime is committed every day, and pass by. It gave me an encouragement. And then after that, Mr. President, a book was produced that is called Devoted Citizen, challenging the people of the country to say, don't wait until somebody is changing your country, but start where you are, because for the success of your country, and then it depends on you. So your influence also goes into the area of South Africa. The gift that you have been received today, it is what you have done to us, and we are inspired, and we are so grateful for your leadership. Now that leads me to my talk today, because you cannot lead where you are until you become a leader to the next level. My talk, it is based on that next level leadership. No matter how old you are, where you are from, or what you do for living, we all share something in common, a desire to progress in life. Nobody can say this morning, I am comfortable where I am, where there's no progress, where there's no success. We all want to be successful. We all want to increase. We all want to flourish. We all want to grow our communities and our country. 5 things that I would want you to note this morning as I am preparing you to lead in the next level to transform your community, your area where you are. 5 things. Number 1, the level you are in determines the life you live. I think that is the most important thing for all of us to remember as leaders, that the level you are in determines the life you live. A toddler or a baby, you cannot feed a baby with meat. A baby was just born today. You cannot give them a raw meat or a steak because the level that they are in, it cannot allow them, to eat a steak. Somewhere, somehow, as leaders, we need to rise from that level of being toddlers so that we can begin to deal with real things in life. The second statement that I want to mention as I present my case this morning, we live and behave according to the level, we are in. I don't expect anything from the baby. When the baby cries, when the baby messed, himself up, we don't expect much because those people are babies. But when it comes to leaders, there are some expectations, that must be presented or demonstrated by a leader. That is why we say we live and behave according to the level we in. You can't, number 3, you can't lead people to a level you have never been. You can't lead people to the level you have never been. I strongly believe that the Republic of Malawi, it is so blessed, to have a president with a vision, a president who knows where he is going. He wants to take the country to another level because he has been into that level, and that is why he's rallying, the people to move forward. You cannot lead people to a level you have never been. Number 4, every next level of your life will demand a different version of you. That is the fact. If you want to go to the next level, if you want to lead where you are, you cannot do the things the same. You need, to demonstrate or to make sure there are things that you put in yourself, you invest in yourself, because every next level of your life will demand a different version. The president will tell us that the moment he stepped into this responsibility, many things were changed in his life because leadership demands you to bring a lot of changes in your life first before you can change other people. And then number 5, you always get tested the most before you progress to the next level. Leaders will attest to that you will always get tested the most before you progress to the next level. I'm one person who loves studying countries that are doing so well, especially living in our country where a lot of things are happening. And the country that I've been studying recently, it is the city of Dubai. I've studied this because I was born in 1971 and this country got their liberation in 1970. And I wanted to compare, my life with this nation while I was comparing my development as a person and what these people have achieved. It is amazing that in 1970, the picture that you see behind me, it is the picture of Dubai. When they got their liberation in 1970, that is just 54 years ago, they were in that position. And because they wanted to lead where they were. Imagine in this country you got the independence and the only thing that you have, it is water and oil and the desert. and nothing much that you can do. And they're telling you, lead where you are with the resources that you have. And in 1990, look where Dubai was. I think we can identify with Dubai. In 1990, this is where they were, but they did not give up. They wanted to do something with what they have. They continued leading where they were in 2003. Look where Dubai was in 2003. And they never stopped, using what they had. In 2007, this is where Dubai was. And they continued to work and lead where they were. In 2012, this is where now Dubai is. That fascinated me when I went into this country, and I realized that with two resources, that they had, the water and the desert, when people thought it cannot be done, they said, you know what, we can take the desert and put it in the water, and then we can build some islands. We can develop what we have. What God has given us, it is more than enough for us, and then to move forward. And this man, the king, Mohammed bin Rashid, was even asked the question and said, tell us, how did you manage, how did you achieve all these things that you have achieved in Dubai? And ladies and gentlemen, I think the statement that he has given unto us is a statement that we can all use as leaders. This was the response of the king of Dubai. This is what he said. He said, I quote, "We in the UAE have no such word as impossible. It does not exist in our vocabulary. Such a word is used by the lazy and the weak who fear challenges and progress." When I got that statement, with the God that I serve, in the most beautiful continent of Africa where God has placed us, I took these words, I embraced them to myself, to say there is nothing impossible with us. There is nothing that we can say it cannot be done. He says, not me. He says the word impossible, it is the word that it is used by the lazy and by the weak. He continues to say, to me, the desert was not an obstacle, problem, or a challenge to be overcome, but an opportunity to create a new sector in the country's economy. What a perspective. What a perspective. As I said in the beginning, Malawi is so blessed to have a leader with this type of a vision, who says we've got it all, with his vision, even with the ATM, to say we can do what other nations are doing. We've got what we need as a nation. It can be done. The only thing that is needed, it is men and women, citizens, to rally around him, believe in his vision, and take this country to another level. And Mr. President, we are praying for you and we are believing God for you. And that is why I strongly believe, may the good God give you a second term, because if it took Dubai so many years to achieve what they've achieved, what is 5 years after all? You need another time to be able to achieve what God has put in your heart. And I pray that may the good God remember you. Now let me give you, because of my time, let me give you 6 qualities you need for the next level. If you're gonna lead where you are, 6 qualities. Number 1, you need to be a next level leader. You need to be a next level leader. A next level leader, it is the leader that is prepared to step into the unknown. You are stepping into the unknown and you fight the giants of the day. Whatever the giant that is there, you have never fought this giant, but you come in, you fight it. Somebody by the name of John Mitchell, he said this statement one day. He said, next level leaders, they plan in decades. They think in years. They work in months, live in days, celebrate in moments. You are a next leader because you can see the future. You can see what other people can't see. For you to lead where you are, you cannot just think like the people who are at that level. Lead where you are, but you come in like a Samaritan who is not walking, but who is riding in the midst of his environment. Number 2, how do you lead to the next level? You need to become or to have what I call the next level vision. You cannot go to the next level without a next level vision. What is the next level vision? The ability to see beyond the now. The ability to see beyond the circumstances. Exactly what these people have done in Dubai. They said, whatever God has given us, the resources that we have, we need to ask ourselves, what is it that can be done? And I know for sure that we've got resources in this continent. We've got resources in Africa. We've got resources and then in Malawi. And once again, to have a leader who says we can do agriculture, you know, we can train leaders and all that, it is because he is aware that we have all that we need. It's all about us giving him the support and leading where we are a citizen. We can take Malawi to another level. I believe that, and I know nothing is impossible with God and then with great leaders in our midst. Number three, I think you need to be a next level thinker. For you to go to the next level, your thinking should be different as a leader. Wherever you are, you might be in business, you might be in agriculture, wherever you are as a leader, your thinking must be what I call the global thinking. You are local, but you are thinking global. Because the world that we are living in now, it has become, you know, a global community. You are here, but at the same time, you know what is happening in South Africa. I might be in South Africa, I know what is happening in the US. The world has become, you know, a small world because we know what can be done. So you need to be a next level leader. Learn what other people are doing. Use resources that are available so that you can take your leadership into the next level. I love the words of Albert Einstein. This is what he said one day, Albert. He says, we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. I think that is a profound statement. If we are going to build our nation, if we are going to build our organization, we cannot use the same thinking, the very same thinking that created the problems that we have. But we need people who are able to think outside the box. People who are inspired by God, people who are able to get into the throne of God, you know, and receive the blueprint of God so that they can solve the problem moving forward. So you need to be a next level thinker. Number 4, I'm almost done. Number 4, you know, if you want to lead into the next level, I strongly believe you must have what I call the next level appetite. The next level appetite. An appetite for more. The question that I may need to ask this morning, how hungry are you? You know, I travel the world. Sometimes I see leaders, they are leaders, but they are not hungry for change. They are not hungry for a better life. They are not hungry, you know, for their children so that they can have a future. It's like most of them, they are just comfortable when things, they are the way they are. And I'm saying as a leader, you must be hungry. You must be hungry for civilization. You must be hungry for a better life. And it is an appetite that says, I will never be satisfied until I see a change in my life. That leads me to number 5. Number 5, it says you need to have a next level courage. A courage to possess. A courage to possess. I want to show you a short clip of this letter. I think it will make a lot of sense to us as African people. And to say you need to be courageous, you need to be hungry. And when you are hungry, there is nothing that can stop you and to proceed into the next level. Just watch this in a minute.
goodness me. We've got a crocodile. Oh, look. Oh, gosh.
This was taken somewhere in South Africa, Kruger National Park. I'm showing you that because, especially as African, we know that a crocodile is so powerful in the water. You will never try to attack a crocodile in the water. But the big question is, how hungry are you? If you are hungry, the story goes on, we are told about this leopard, that it tasted the meat of a crocodile. It once tasted the meat of a crocodile, but it realized that this meat cannot just be found on a surface. It realized that the meat is found right in the river. When you are hungry for progress, you are hungry for success, you are hungry to better the lives of the people, there is nothing will stand against you. You will be moved by courage. You will be moved by appetite to say, I want this thing for myself and for the people around me. I'm encouraging us as leaders. Let us be hungry for progress. Let us be hungry for a success. Let us be hungry for the next generation to have a better life. You know, somebody gave this beautiful quote. He says, a ship in a harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Ladies and gentlemen, you might forget about what I have said earlier, but I want you to take this statement, Africa, that a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. As a leader, you might be safe in your office, but you were never built to remain in your office. You were built as a ship to go and face the waves of life. Yes, the ship at the harbor is safe. Nobody would want to touch the ship. But let me tell you, you and I as leaders, we are called and we are designed to face the challenges of life, to face the waves of life, and make sure that we bring change in our community for the sake of the next generation. And finally, let me close with this statement, that you need a next level of service. Aren't you glad, Malawi? Aren't you glad, Africa, that we can have leaders like our president who says, I am stepping into this thing not for myself, but I want to better the next generation. I want to make sure that when I am no more, Malawi remains a great country. And my final closing statement is that to all the leaders, let us remember, there's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. It's not just gonna happen just like that, but we need to take the stairs. It's gonna be tough, it's gonna be hard, but if we are surrounded by men and great women, it can be done. In Jesus' name, I bless you all. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mama. Long live, sir. Long live Malawi.
Oh, wow. We can do better for Pastor Mathube. That was powerful. That was powerful. These are the kind of conversations that we need to have as a country, as Africa. We need to be having such conversation. Are you ready? Are you ready to lead where you are? Look at the fuel on the fire that is in here. Thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you very much, Pastor Chris Mathube, who is the leadership consultant. This is so powerful. And I hope out there, they are saying, I need to be there. I need to be part of this conversation, and they are coming for this. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, after this presentation, we're now having a session processing, and this one is going to be done by Reverend Dr. Vincent Chira, Ambassador of Global Leadership Network, GLN, just to give us a picture or just a feedback processing what Pastor Mathube has just presented to us this morning. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus MacArthur Chakwera, and First Lady, Your Excellency Monica Chakwera, and all distinguished guests, all protocols observed, most welcome. In the next few minutes that I have, I want to take us through a process. I'm not here to solicit an emotional response to the presentation, like, wow, and it ends there. There's some of us who have been sponsored by our organizations and here, and I thank God for those sponsorships, but for some, it is just about traveling to Lilongwe, getting an allowance, and after that, back to the status quo. I want to challenge you. With what we have heard this morning from our presenters, and in the last presenter especially, how do we apply this message now to our sphere of influence? It won't do you any good for any of us to go back to the same status quo and swim in the morass of negativity and just say Malawi is as a taker and all that thing that you see on social media. The question that I want to ask you is, what are you going to do about what you have heard? Jesus taught his disciples, and in John 13, verse 17, after he had spoken to them, he said, now that you know these things, do them. My task this morning is to challenge you. Now that you know these things, these 6 points that have been given, what are you going to do? Yes, we must admit Malawi has challenges. We can't close our eyes to that fact. There are many challenges that surround us. And I do not believe that it will take one individual to change Malawi. It takes all of us, and each one leading in their sphere of influence. Let me just give an example. Companies are sponsoring their employees to go and plant trees, a great initiative given the level of deforestation in our country. And members of staff happily participate in those activities. But let me ask you, you as an individual who knows this problem of environmental degradation, deforestation, have you, not by the initiative of your company, but on your own, have you planted a tree? I'm asking that question because that's where it matters. That's where the rubber hits the road. That is where you can make your own difference. Yes, many may say, this is just too big a problem. This is a humongous problem. But the question is, what have you done? And so, in just very few minutes, I want us to process some of the points that have been shared here this morning. I want to take on number 3, the next level thinker, global thinking. How are you processing your environment in light of global trends, in light of what is happening outside? And I'm sure just this exposure of seeing Dubai in 1970 and seeing it now gives us some light about how change is possible, how change can happen. Things are happening out there. The question that I have for you, in your sphere of influence, you may be a chief executive officer, you may be a supervisor, you may be a captain in the army, whatever it may be. The question that I have for you
is in terms of how things are happening globally, how are you positioning yourself? Are you putting a boundary around yourself and just thinking, well, this is where we are, and life goes on for years? If change is going to happen, you got to think globally. Do you have an appetite for greater things? Or have you settled? You rest on your achievements, laurels. Is there a quest for, we can do better than this? Can you imagine every day coming into the office, you open the door and you look at your desk and you see piles of letters and things that must be done, and you tell yourself, I can do better today. It's possible for the person who says it is possible, things indeed will happen. But for the person who says it's not possible, they're going to live their fulfilled prophecy. The maker of Ford, the motor car, said, the person who says I can and the person who says I can't are both right. Did you hear that? The person who says I can and the person who says I can't are both right. Because the person who says I can begins to put things in place to make things happen. The question that I have for you, what things in your sphere of influence are you going to put to make things happen? Yes, maybe things have ground to a halt, but are you going to be the mover and shaker? Because that's where leadership matters. That's where leadership matters. You're not going to camp on your level of success, but you're going to move. Are you going to take the staircase to move up? It's a choice. It's possible that we can come to this summit and hear all these great teachings that, shake us to the core of our being. But until you make the resolve to say, I'm going to change, until you make the resolve that things are not going to be the same in my sphere of influence, this might just be another conference. But I believe that in the vision that we have, this is not just another conference. We are here for change, to transform leaders. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Another big hand there, ladies and gentlemen, for Reverend Dr. Vincent Chira, who is the ambassador of Global Leadership Network, challenging us on the presentation that we had. Are you challenged enough to lead where you are? What are you going to do after listening to these great, powerful teachings that we are having in the next 2 days? Are you ready to change? Are you ready to take lead? These are some of the questions that you are supposed to answer as you leave this room. Your Excellency, we are continuing with the program. Right now, let me call for some entertainment. And we have Tamara Nkorongo and band in the building to entertain us. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen, for Tamara Nkorongo. And thereafter, after her entertaining us in here, we are going to have a presentation on a leadership that transforms by Mr. Mike Seff, who is the chairperson of and also the Chief Executive Officer for Global Leadership Institute. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 31 says, in whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. So I'm praying that this morning somebody will lift up the name of
Another big hand there for Tamara and Korongo and band. That was powerful. This is another beautiful day that the Lord has made. We are really rejoicing to this one. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We are moving on to the next presentation, and this presentation is going to be done by Mr. Mike Seff, who is the chairperson and the chief executive officer for Global Leadership Institute. He is presenting on leadership that transforms. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
One, two. His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera and Madam Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, honored dignitaries, guests, members here present. It is such a great honor and privilege for me to be here again today on this distinguished occasion to look ahead and see what the future can look like for this nation and the nations of the earth. Could I have the next slide? The next slide, please. So building nation building and wealth creation. What are the potential keys to building a nation and building wealth in a nation? So we can look at some of these as we go through this presentation. I'm going to end with 5 strategic focus areas, building a picture, very much like Chris beautifully did, of what this nation could look like. In the middle section, I'd like to look at some strategic, executive, and presidential coaching in order to assist every organization, every movement, every component of this society to help to build this future nation. In the beginning, I'd like to lay 4 principles of what these foundations look like. So on slide 5, God has a purpose for every nation, including Malawi. There is a master plan which includes the redemption, restoration, and the rebuilding of nations. Every generation desires and seeks this clarity to express and reach true passion, potential, and purpose. Martin Luther King Jr. is an outstanding example of those used to deliver and seek to implement his master plan. Who will fulfill the transformational role in your nation in the decades and the years to come? Who will be those who will have the clarion call to call the nation to greatness, to call the nation to its high road and not allow it to approximate the lower road? Who will be those who will be in the trenches today, rising up through the organizations of public and private sector, being fashioned through coaching, through mentoring, through discipleship indeed, in order to become the great leaders of the nation and the continent in the years to come? I want to just go off note for a moment and say that in 2007 I purchased a DVD in those days, The 100 Speeches That Changed the World. 4 speeches rocked my world in particular that time, and 2 by Dr. Nelson Mandela, 2 by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I literally listened to those presentations about 25 times in my vehicle in the garage because I was so emotionally overcome. God was busy transforming the inside and reformulating, rebooting the inside of me to be able to be ready for the future of what He had in store for me and those around me. And I remember that process so well. I felt at that time that God had done so many transformational things in my life that I was ready. only to discover there was much more. And God-rooted things touched me deeply in this process. I remember in 1994, in February of 1994, 2 years before the first democratic election in South Africa, I was sitting in an auditorium at a University of Cape Town as it was, and in walked Dr. Nelson Mandela, who came out of a meeting next door and asked whether he could speak to us. And I remember almost every word of that half-an-hour presentation, which was right off the cuff, and how he challenged the nation to higher levels of thinking in every single generation from that. That was 1994. And what is the clarion call of God at this time for this nation and for the generations to come? Point 2 on slide 5. It is evident today that there are those who seek destruction, including deception and unrest around the nations, including this nation. You may be asking, what is going on despite what we may be seeing at this moment in time? However, his great plan for this nation is progressively being revealed to the president, to his team, to top leaders around the nation, the plan for the future prosperity of this nation, as beautifully depicted by Chris. There is a higher road, and God is calling us there. God's heart is one of transformation, restoration, and rebuilding. And this applies to all, including individual life, marriages, the cities, and the city authorities, the nation and the nation's authorities. Now is the time to recognize, encourage, and empower all citizens who play vital roles in every single corner of the nation. As national industry, SEO, and other key leaders, what can you and your teams do better today, including in these dimensions of restoration, transformation, and rebuilding? I challenge you with this question. If you were to be in all authority in the organization in which you now find yourself, what would you do to take that organization to an entirely new level of thinking, of understanding, and of blessed living? What is it that God is laying on your heart to change the future prosperity where you now find yourself as part of the building blocks for the greatness of the nation? I now want to look at slide 6. How do we attain true national transformation? I'm going to stay on this slide for a little bit, because this slide really is best done in around about 5 hours to 10 hours, but I'll give it a couple of minutes. And the question that I need to ask every leader present today is, you may well, I trust you do have a vision for the organization that you lead, for the movement that you lead. Where did that vision emulate from? Where did that vision arise from? How did it come to be what it is today? My question to you is this: to what extent was it given to you, and to what extent was it derived from a greater purpose? You see, there is a way for us to determine what is the true purpose, passion, and potential of every movement, every organization, and of the nation itself. There is a way for us to determine the true purpose, and there is a process which any group of executives, members of parliament, and boards of directors can go through, a process which can accelerate understanding of the true purpose of such an organization, movement, and indeed of the nation. And I would challenge and encourage you to take your ambit of authority to the next level, to unpack and discover the true divine purpose for the position and function in which you oversee. at this season, at this juncture. Because when you truly understand the purpose for which something is birthed, you are able to, because that is lifelong. Purpose is from before the foundation of the earth, as we are told. And as you are birthed on the earth, your purpose is automatically being expressed, whether you understand it or not. It goes through your lifetime, and for many generations beyond you, your purpose lives through the lives of people that you have influenced. Your purpose, your life purpose, your organizational purpose lives for generations to come beyond your life. So when we look at a vision, it's actually a snapshot of our purpose. It's not just given to us by somebody. It is a snapshot of the organization's purpose. It is a snapshot of the nation's purpose. So we develop a vision for a 4-year plan, for example, as a snapshot. So, and you all understand that very well through the schools that you've been to. So how do we then implement this purpose and vision in a very practical way in the cabinet, in our board meetings, in the executive meetings, which we oversee? Well, there's a great key to assist us to do that, and that's called critical success factors. You need to determine what are the critical success factors. A critical success factor is that thing which, if you don't fulfill it, you cannot fulfill the vision and purpose. That's how big that is. And so, once you determine your critical success factors, which Dr. Chikwara has so beautifully done for this nation at the beginning of his term, we then need to look at what are the strategic implications, what are the strategic goals to put that into place. We understand that well. And making sure that they tie back all the strategic goals and decisions that we are implementing, tie back to our 5 critical success factors, which is, in this case, which ties back to the true purpose of the nation and your organization. So I just want you to give that a moment's thought before I run off this point. I'll go quickly through the rest. In this moment, can you take 1 minute and scribble down a few words that help you understand what is your life's purpose? Because when you link in to your life's purpose, you will never be discouraged. You will never be knocked off course for very long. You will never be overcome for very long. Because when you link in to a purpose which is way higher than yourself, and I believe that is given by God, you're able to formulate a vision, develop critical success factors, implement strategic goals that will change the organization or the nation that you oversee in a way that will lead the nation, lead the organization to the high road. And in so doing, you will raise a generation of leaders that will emulate you. You know, I was speaking to one of the top business executives that has been all around the world, spent many years in some at the biggest banks in New York. I was coaching him last week, and he was asking me about how do I lead my 18-year-old son, and passionately speaking into this, how do I lead my 18-year-old son, giving me all sorts of examples of some crises. And at the end of a 2-hour conversation, it came down to this, that everything you do and say is not about the decision that your son must make tomorrow, but you are emulating a leadership that he will need to learn to emulate. You are displaying a leadership that in your son's greater challenges in the years to come, he will be able to follow. So it's not about manipulating his decision. It's not about trying by all sorts of means to make sure your son makes the right decision. Allow him to make some mistakes. Allow him to learn the way you needed to learn sometimes. But posture yourself as the great father that you want him to be at 25 and 30 and 35. Long before you got there. You see, friends, as we build leaders, greater leaders for the future generations, it's not about the way we manipulate them or control them using autocratic leadership, demanding leadership, toxic leadership, but it's about being a transformational leader and a servant leader that will ask the powerful questions to your son when you know you have the right answers. But it's not about the right answers. It's about the right mentorship and coaching so that your son can do better than you in the next generation. So that your daughter can do better than you in the next generation. So that your board and your members of parliament can do better than you in the next generation. It's about being that servant leader. We don't just become transformational leaders and servant leaders by reading books and going to university. I'm sorry to say, we learn it in the trenches. We learn it by being led, not always by great leaders. I was led by some people that were very, very rough and tough. And God had to teach me how not to lead through some of the leaders that led me. But God is in control. So despite the mistakes that you might have made in the past, God is in control of raising you to be, if your heart is open, raising you to be a true transformational leader and a true servant leader. So I salute the president and the very, very high stand that he has taken in raising the temperature of the leaders and the waves of leaders coming in behind him. And may all of you follow in these footsteps, because it's going to change the nation. You saw the picture that Chris painted. It's going to change the nation as we transform the caliber of leadership. And when I close, I'll close with 5 points that will just give an idea of an example of such. So just going very quickly through the 9 points that I've got there, I wanted to focus particularly on purpose and vision, critical success factors and strategic goals. We learn it at MBA school, but you know, unfortunately we learn the transactional model. And I wanted to make it clear that there's a higher model. There's a much higher model. In kingdom circles, we can have a transformational model of decision making. We can have a transformational model of leading our nation and organizations. And may we have the humility to go there. So just very quickly, if you can follow me on the slides, the second point in any great movement seeking transformation is the question of identify current reality and SWOT. We need to make sure that there are no blind spots. As we look at the nation, as we look at the movement we lead, as we look at the organization we lead, please make sure that you've identified the blind spots. Because they're blind spots because they're blind. So you need to find ways of getting around and identifying the true current reality. It's no use putting our head in the sand and making statements at executive level and board level and parliamentary level. This is the state of the nation, when we actually know the state of the nation. And if not, we need to find out what is that state. Because if you want any transformation, you must have a starting point and you must have an end point. You must have a current reality and you must have a strategic goal, a vision and a plan, a vision and a purpose, sorry. And the only way to move is when you're moving from A to B, not from somewhere to B. Then the third point, very important in our process of transforming nations and movements and organizations, is to create options, create realistic options. And I hope you are thinking of your own organization today, your own movement today, your own government today. What are the options and the big innovative solutions? What are the options and the biggest innovative solutions that you can conceive to transform everything around you within your sphere of influence to a greater level? Point 4, once you've identified those options, on the next slide, you need to overcome obstacles and challenges. Just because there are obstacles, don't throw out the option, don't throw out the innovative idea. If we did that, we wouldn't have an Elon Musk. We wouldn't have 300 of the greatest innovators that transformed the world over the last number of years. I read a book fairly recently about the 300 recent innovations. Interestingly enough, they were incubated by Christian men and women around the world over a number of decades. And so it is, the point I'm bringing is that innovation can be a supernatural, transformational idea that you receive in the middle of the night as a dream or wherever. Don't poo-hoo those ideas. Fifthly, finalize a great executive national master plan or movement master plan or organizational master plan or group master plan. Look at finalizing a greater executive national master plan that will take you and your organization, your movement, your nation to levels that others haven't even dreamt of. And then in conclusion, when you want to implement that thing, of course you need a team. You need people that are really on board, so you need to look at ways to collaborate, to build depth of national and sector unity, to activate international partnerships of greatness, to eliminate poverty, hunger, and injustice. I challenge every top leader today to activate greater collaboration to achieve this bigger vision that God is placing on your life, on your heart today. Wherever you find yourself in leadership, look for ways to be a transformational leader and a servant leader so that you're a collaborative in the way you lead and that you have a powerful team behind you, with you, leading at the next level. And then an obvious statement perhaps, number 8, live transformed, values-based lives. It came out so beautifully in Chris's fantastic presentation that we personally need to lead. We personally need to transform to next levels. And one of the bases of our future strength is the values that we inculcate. The values, the foundational values that are within us, placed within us, but that we allow them to grow, that we allow them to flourish, and when we are faced with really difficult decisions, is it the high road or the high road? Is it my pocket or the nation? That when we are faced with those moments of great difficulty, that we choose values, that we choose the higher values. And then finally, a master marketing plan. We're not going to get the vote at the end of whatever, whether it's an AGM vote or whether it's the national vote, unless we have a well-formulated, transformational marketing and branding plan. So that all these incredible things that have happened, the purpose, the vision, the strategic goals, all of the master plan, we need to communicate that so we get a mass vote of confidence for another season. of transformation for our nation, for our organization. And if we can put up the final two slides, one at a time. So here's a statement that I just wanted to read to you. In life, you should work on yourself until the day you die. That's a fairly strong statement, right? Serena Williams. The next one, Gracia Machel, activist, politician, humanitarian, former First Lady of Mozambique and South Africa. We need to make it our personal agenda to change the world. And I thought to include Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost more than 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to make the game-winning shot and missed.